This is the video training for the Ask the Expert module. In this training, we'll show you how to set up user accounts who are the experts, which your sales staff will go out and solicit to become experts. And this is a one-time setup. We'll also show you how you can check to see whether the experts are answering questions on a regular basis, and to be able to go in and keep track of the questions and answers that are part of the system. So in the site administration panel, one of the first things you need to set up is the category. And you'll need to do it in this order, categories first and then the users. And I'll show you why, as you'll see here in just a second. But go over to categories and click on Add. And in this area here, all you need to do is under name, which is a required field, it is in black text, go ahead and create a category. In this case, let's just call it therapist. We do have an area here for sponsor information that if you wanted to do an additional upsell, you can actually have a particular user be a sponsor of a particular category. When I'm done here, I just click on Save. And that'll show me all the different categories that I have created. And as you can see here in our demo, several have been created, but in this case, therapist is the new one. I'm going to go back to the Ask the Expert main page, and now I'm ready to type in my user, create my user. So just go here into Add Users. And at this point, we'll go in and type in a username called Expert. But this will be the username and password that you will create to allow the expert to be able to log into this system. I'm going to give myself a password and click Save. Now, whatever password I give, it actually is, we do have a system here where the expert can change their password at a later time. They just click on Change Password on the upper right corner here, but I'm going to click Save. And now I have gone to the Change User page, and this is where I'm going to be putting in as much information as possible about the expert. We will have a profile page that will add additional information, including a photo and a logo from his business and so forth. But in this case, we'll go ahead here, and I won't type it in right now, but you do put in his first name, last name, email address. Then when we get to permissions, make sure that the staff status checkbox is checked. That will give the expert the ability to log into the system. And then click Save. And then that'll show all the users in the system. So let's go back to the main home page. And then finally, the only other thing you need to do is put in additional information about the expert, and that is under Expert Profiles. So let's go ahead and click on Add Expert Profile. And here at the top, you do need to select the user. This is why we did it in this particular order of having the user before the profile, because now you're going to go in here, look to find expert, and he is right there. And this is where you'll go in and you'll finish it off with the required fields right there. Put in the address, city, state, zip, the name of the business. If you have a URL of his particular website, you can do that. Put in a phone, fax, cell number. Put a little bio information as well. Just it's a normal word processor. There's really no limit on how much information you could put in the bio, but I do recommend that we keep it down to maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs, just because you don't want the bio information to consume the entire page. Toward here at the bottom, we have featured, a little box there, and that is to make them what's called a featured expert. And that is something that on the home page of the Ask the Expert, it will have in a rotating capacity the picture and a little bio information of the expert that people can click on and get to that expert's information very, very quickly. This is an upsell. And finally here, this is where you're going to be uploading some media information, including a logo and a photograph. Now we do have, not only in the written documentation that's part of MTechU, but also we have some written instructions here on each item here. It'll tell you that you need to upload a JPEG, and you'll have to upload a particular pixel size as well. And finally, you choose the category. This is why we selected the category, and I believe we selected, I think it was therapist. And so you just go ahead and click on therapist and click on save. And now you've done everything to set up the user account for the expert. And all the expert needs to know is next time he gets a question asked, he'll get an email, and open up his email, he'll type in his username and password that you created, and the expert will be able to answer the question. Now, even though the system is based on not having the media company really get involved in this and monitor this on a regular basis, there is an option for the media company to be able to come in and either edit or delete both the questions and answers if for some reason an expert lets a particular question get through that the newspaper might feel is not appropriate for the category. So at any time, the media company can go in and click on questions, and once they do, they'll see all the questions that have been asked. It'll have a date on it of when it was asked. Let's just click on this one in particular. That'll open it up further. And at this point, this is where the media company, if they want, they can go in and delete it, or you wouldn't necessarily want to edit the question. I would just go ahead and delete it instead. And also, this is a way for the media company also to ask some questions on their own if it's a situation where the public is a little slow in getting a lot of questions asked. This might be at the beginning of the launch of the Ask the Expert section. Really do recommend that the sales staff or somebody on the newspaper staff go in and kind of just jumpstart it with sending some questions, so they can actually go in and hit add question, type in the question here, and then where it says send email, they just click on send email, and this question will then go directly to the expert. So that's something really nice. And just as we've seen where you can go in and look at the questions, you can do the same with the answers. And this is one in particular where if you see one of the answers might have been something that is not the answered in the best possible way, or there might be something in there with some profanity, some reason you don't want this to be live on the site, you can go in at any time here and either edit this or click at the bottom and delete it as well. And finally, the View Reports area, by clicking on View Reports, will allow the newspaper the ability to really monitor to see how quickly the expert is answering the questions. Very important that the expert answers a question in a given amount of time in order for the user to not feel that, what's going on here, I submitted this question, 3 days ago and it still hasn't been answered. Really need to have a policy in place to set that makes the expert answer a question in a given time frame. And as you can see here, it'll show the total number of questions asked, give you like a percentage, it'll tell you when it was last answered, and if at any given time the newspaper feels that the expert is not answering questions quickly enough or letting a lot of them just kind of not be answered, this is something that somebody should speak to the expert and tell them that really for this section to be successful, we really need the questions to be answered as soon as possible. Anyway, that is the Ask the Expert module admin panel. Now you can proceed to the quiz, and thank you very much.